unit of the Ministry of Agriculture to address the issues with every sense of urgency, adding that samples had been taken to National Veterinary Research Institute (VAM) for thorough assessment and further investigation. The attention of the Plateau State government has been drawn to a story published in some national newspaper and trending on social media that over 1,000 cows died of a strange disease within a space of 4 days in some villages in the Magun local government area of the state. Francis Okie, a former Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, has debunked claims that he belongs to a cult group, warning political detractors to desist from a smear campaign meant to tarnish his image. In a statement on Friday, Okie made available to journalists in Benin, showing worries over a viral social media report allegedly sponsored by his political opponents against him ahead of the Edo 2024 governorship election. The former Speaker of the People's Democratic Party said the video on YouTube and other social media handles where he was alleged to be a member of a cult group sponsoring killings in the state was not only embarrassing but also a lie from the pit of hell. The federal government has announced over 100% fee increment for new students going to Federal University College, otherwise known as federal government colleges across the country. A circular bearing the breakdown of the fee titled Approved Fees Charges for Federal Unity College First Term for New Students was signed by the Director of Senior Secondary Education, Ajia Binta Abdul Kadri, and was issued to all principals of the Federal Unity Colleges from the Office of the Director of Senior Secondary Education Department of the Federal Ministry of Education, with reference number ADF 120 DSSEI. New students are now expected to pay 100,000 naira instead of the previous 45,000 naira. The National Emergency Agency, NEMA, has called on residents of 11 local government areas in Niger State to prepare for the impending flood in the coming months. In a statement issued by Head of Operations Zainab Saidu in Mina, the state capital, she said, prediction revealed that Mokwa, Shiroro, Laverne and Bogu local government areas are in the category of high flood risk areas in the state and expected to experience high flooding within the month of July to November. As part of its constitutional mandate, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has debriefed 37 state collation officers for presidential election scopes and senatorial district collation officers of the commission, Edikon Michael reports.
It is the Commission's policy to organize post-election reviews after successful conduct and conclusion of any election, and the 2023 general elections cannot be an exception. The Chairman, Planning, Monitoring and Strategic Committees, Rhoda Gomez, says the meeting is to undertake a comprehensive review on issues and challenges, as well as to learn critical lessons in planning for future elections.
It is the Commission's policy to organize post-election review after successful conduct and conclusion of any election, and the 2023 general election cannot be an exception. We are here to undertake a comprehensive review on issues, challenges, and to learn critical lessons in planning for future elections. The state collation officers for presidential election scopes and senatorial district collation officers are key players in conducting elections in Nigeria.
On his path, Independent's National Electoral Commissioner, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, reiterated the Commission's awareness over extreme challenges, circumstances by various and manual factors, while acknowledging concerns by the masses over result management at various levels.
It is practically unmanageable to invite all the collation and returning officers for the 1,462 federal and state constituencies made up of 109 senatorial districts, 360 federal constituencies, and 993 state assembly constituencies. We therefore focused on the senatorial districts, since they are bigger and cut across the other circumstances by tediously and manually completing designated forms as provided by law, and either moved them to the next level of collection or concluded the process yourselves as returning officers.
The directors.
I think it's important to build the foundation that the powers that is vested on the Commission to conduct election, also in Section 106, empower the Commission to regulate its processes. And the post-election reviews that we do are anchored on the policy that was enacted by the Commission in 2017. This is not to say that there have not been post-election reviews since about 2011, but to do this in a systematic manner, the policy provided a framework on how this is to be done.
It is expected that the review meeting will identify areas of strength and weaknesses, as well as the necessary reforms needed for future elections. At the review meeting, Vice Chancellors of universities, top national electoral commissioners met to review incidences that occur during elections and what could be the solutions in the next elections. Edikan Michael, Global TV News.
A former Minister of Aviation, Senator Stella Odua, was on Friday arraigned before of graft. Odua, which served as Aviation Minister from public funds to the tune of about 5 billion naira in connivance with 8 others. But the court on Friday ordered the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation to take over the prosecution of Odua, our ex-aide Gloria Odita, and 7 others charged with laundering of about 5 billion naira. The presiding judge, Justice Ian Eko, gave the order after Odua and the other defendants were arraigned and they pleaded not guilty to the 25 counts brought against them by the EFCC. Charged alongside Odua and Odita, and the 25 counts charge marked FHC ABJ CR 316-2020 Nwosu Emmanuel, Nnamdi Chukwuma, Irene Chinyere, Global Offshore and Marine Limited, Tip Top Global Resources Limited, Crystal Television Limited, Saborora International Limited, and China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation Nigeria Limited. On Friday, Justice Eko said the controversy surrounding the prosecution of the case informed his decision for the AGF to take over the case. The National Executive Council, NEC, has agreed on palliative measures for Nigerians through a cash transfer program that will immediately be implemented by the federal, state, and local government towards ameliorating the suffering of the poorest of the poor in the country. This is coming because of the recent hike in petrol prices occasioned by the petrol subsidy removal. The decision was reached at a meeting held at the council chamber of the State House in Abuja. Prince Adegoke has the details.
The decision of the National Economic Council is coming because of the recent hike in petrol prices to up to 617 naira per litre, resulting from the removal of the petrol subsidy. NEC, while considering integrity tests on national social registers, noted that it will be reviewed at the state level to ensure cash transfers reach the most vulnerable in the society who do not have access to bank accounts.
What we have put out here about what a menu of things that will encourage the tiers of government to implement in accordance with their respective fiscal space and fiscal capacities, the federal, the state, and the local government. And we did highlight as well that there is quite some fiscal surplus that will be coming to the states and local government and the federal government. And there we've suggested it would be nice that you can implement cash transfers subject to your financial capacity.
The Council has also suggested a 6-month cash award policy for public servants to ease their living and transportation expenses, while urging governors to reduce the cost of governance in their various states.
We also talked about ensuring that we paid our public servants outstanding liabilities, whichever way, if it's their pension, if it's their gratuities, if it's their leave bonuses, and so on and so forth. And that is a front burner item because we believe that this would immediately bring succor to our people.
To address the cost of living, the governor of Bauchi said food items including grains and fertilizers are to be distributed by state governments at a subsidized rate or no cost after it is received from the Central Bank of Nigeria, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA.
To all the sectors and all the segments of the society, food is a key component of what is on the table in terms of food security, the escalation of prices of foodstuff and so on and so forth. And it was gladdening because NEC engaged with NEMA, with the CBN, and indeed with the Ministry of Agric. And we have some buffer stock that is already there with NEMA, and the Council has directed the states will be allocated immediately.
Recall that 2 days ago, the federal government said it will review the plan for a monthly 8,000 naira transfer to 12 million of the poorest households in the country for 6 months in a bid to cushion the effects of the removal of fuel subsidy following the backlash it generated among Nigerians. From the Presidential Villa, Abuja, Prince Adegoke, Global Television News.
The Kaduna State Ministry of Health has confirmed cases of the diphtheria disease in some communities in Kafancha, Jema's local government area of the state. The confirmation was sequel to several reports about residents in Takoi Ward, Kafancha A and Kafancha B wards exhibiting symptoms like difficulty in breathing, high fever, cough, general body weakness, sore throat, and neck swelling. It was on Thursday reported that the outbreak of a strange disease in part of Kafancha, which killed about 10 children aged between 3 and 10 years. However, the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Sani Uba Mohammed, Lawal Shehu, in a statement early Friday morning, explained that upon learning about the unfortunate loss of lives in the affected communities, the state governor immediately directed the State Ministry of Health to send an emergency team to investigate the cases. The statement said a preliminary report for the ministry revealed that the outbreak of the diphtheria in Kafancha had its first recorded case in the beginning of July 2023. Governor Sani, while commending the health officials for their prompt response to the health emergency, urged them to continue to carry out their tasks diligently to ensure that the disease is contained and subsequently eradicated. The Senate has called on the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, and the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, to immediately suspend the World Bank-funded NMMP Phase 2 in order to undertake a comprehensive review of the procurement criteria to prioritize local manufacturing and assembling. The Senate also mandated TCN and NERC to look towards the Central Banks of Nigeria, CBN, intervention funds or engage the African Export-Import Afrexim Bank. This followed a motion sponsored by Senator Victor Ome on the urgent need to protect local metal manufacturers and the ongoing national mass matching program of the federal government. This is as the House of Representatives at plenary on yesterday took steps to stop the planned electricity tariff hike by distribution companies discussed. The House urged the National Electricity Regulatory Commission not to approve any increase in electricity tariff in Nigeria. Procurement regulators in every developing company, first and foremost, is to protect its local manufacturers and would only try to augment importation of goods and services where there is a clear-cut gap between local production and consumption. And this is News Cycle on Global TV, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. The National President of Nigeria Association of Chambers and Commerce Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Dele Oye, has called for increased public-private sector collaboration to strengthen free trade zone operations in the country. Speaking on the sidelines of the Nigeria Export Processing Zones Authority and Oil and Gas Free Zones Authority, Oye noted that stronger free trade zones would enhance economic growth. Oye, who lauded the initiative, said the meeting would provide a fine platform to address the present challenges faced by free trade zones operators, which would enhance their operations and improve the economic, reiterating the importance of a strong and efficient would enable businesses to compete successfully in the global market. And now on foreign increase in unemployment claims, 2009 recession. The Conference Board on Thursday said its leading economic index, a measure that anticipates future economic activity, declined by 0.7% in May. The Conference Board 3.8% between June and December 2020 for alleged mishandling of classified document for spring next year. Judge Alan Cannon sets the case for 20 May. Trump had wanted the trial postponed until after the November 2024 presidential election. The high-profile case will begin with the election campaign in full swing. Trump, 77, faces serious charges over the storage of sensitive files at his Florida home. Prosecutors says the former president illegally kept secret documents at his Mar-a-Lago estate after he left office and obstructed government efforts to retrieve them. And on Friday, Judge Cannon, a Trump appointee, said the two-week trial would take place in the Fort Pierce, Florida district. Trump pleaded not guilty to 37 federal counts during an arraignment in Miami last month. In preparation to welcoming Pope Francis along with 1 million young people for World Youth Day, Portugal has restated random border security checks. The Interior Minister José Luís Carneiro said that the identity check at a border will be random and not systematic, adding that there will be coordination with Spanish, French, and Italian authorities. According to government decision, the measure carried on Saturday is implemented to prevent possible threats to public order and internal security, which will last until August 7. And on entertainment, former President of the United States of America, Barack Obama, in his regular tradition, has released a summer playlist for 2023, and the self-acclaimed African giant and Grammy Award winner, Dami Ogulo, aka known as Burna Boy, made the list for the third time. Also, Mervyn Records signee Oyekansola Aderibigbe, aka Arya Star, was also featured for the second time on Thursday, July 20, 2023. Obama announced that 41 songs made the cut, including that of two Nigerians sitting on top of the world by Burna Boy, featuring British singer 21 Savage and Stability by Oyekansola Aderibigbe, aka Arya Star. Obama tweeted, "Like I do every year, here are some songs I've been listening to this summer, a mix of old and new. Looking forward to hearing what I have missed." Lionel Messi, and this is on sport, has launched a great start to his American journey, scoring a game-winning free kick on his debut for Inter Miami on Saturday morning, Nigeria time. The 7-time Ballon d'Or winner came on in the second half and scored a 19-minute free kick in his debut game for Inter Miami, securing a 2-1 win against Cruz Azul. Inter Miami hadn't won in months until this victory. Messi expressed happiness with the outcome of the match and said it was lucky the ball went in. He dedicated his goal to an injured teammate, Ian Fryer, who, according to him, was suffering in the locker room from the injury he sustained. And that's it on